Okay, girls, looking at our final lesson, so looking at group 0 elements and looking at their properties in more detail. And this lesson's quite short, it's not too difficult. Let's get started. So I'm going to flick back to our periodic table at the beginning to see what we know about group 0 elements already. So group 0 obviously is under 0, it's this whole column. So we've got helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. And automatically we can see that if we remember our stepping line, this is on the right of the stepping line. So all of group 0 elements are non-metals. And now that we've established that, let's go back and look at the rest of the new information. So the first thing to remember is that group 0 elements are also known as noble gases. So just like our group 7 elements were known as halogens, group 0 elements are our noble gases. And they have lots of different functions in our day-to-day life and uses, which we did look at in lesson, but I'll just go over them one more time. So we have helium, which you might be familiar with because it's used in helium balloons. We have neon, which is used in advertising lights. We have argon, which is used in double glazing. It keeps the house more insulated, keeps the heat in, the gap. We have krypton, and that is used to repair, tears in the retina. And helium and neon are also used in barcode scanners. And you just need to know these in not too much detail, just some examples of the uses, I would say, would be good to know. And these gases exist naturally in the atmosphere, and they can be separated using distillation. Distillation is just a separating technique we use in chemistry. You don't need to know how it works in year 8, but it's just important to be aware that the technique does exist and it's used to separate the gases. So looking at the physical and chemical properties, just like we did with the rest of the groups, the physical properties, group 0 elements, so our noble gases, are colourless at room temperature. So all of them are colourless at room temperature. And like other non-metals, they have low melting points and low boiling points. And they're quite unreactive, I would say. There's not much, there's not a really big difference between them, but the boiling point does increase slightly as we go down the group. And the noble gases also glow brightly when high voltage electricity passes through them, and this is why we can see them in the advertising signs. Again, looking at the chemical properties, like I said, they're quite unreactive, but they can take part in a few reactions, but not that many. And they get slightly, and by slightly I mean very slightly more reactive as you go down the group. But helium and neon are the most unreactive because they're near the top, so they don't take part in many reactions at all. And argon, krypton and xenon take part in only a few, which are listed below. You don't need to know the details of these reactions as such, but it would be useful to go through those bullet points and see some of the reactions that can happen. And that is it. That is it with the noble gases. Very simple compared to our group 7 that we looked at previously. And that's all you need to know. And that is the topic complete. Well done.